everyone. So, and Namshar, I messaged him, but I might actually have to poke him on Skype or something, because...
Oh, I'll go poke him too.
I guess he assumed that it may have been best of 3 or just that it would have taken longer. But it is not so. We already have someone in the round of 8s, which is surprising. Maybe that was a walkover and that was just misreported, but Tamika's 2-0 Billowy.
Oh.
So we'll be waiting for a while.
Yes, his name has been AFK for 20 minutes. It's about when we started, so I wouldn't be surprised.
It's too damn late in Korea. It is 2:30 in the morning. But, I don't know. I don't really have, like, a usual sleep schedule. So I'm not fretting. Yesterday was actually much worse because I was exhausted from all the traveling. Like, this is not such a big deal.
It's hard to play catch up from travel. It sounds like such a whiny first person or first world problem thing, but it really is. Like, after you take a couple of flights, you get like winded, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And I'm recovered from that. Yeah. Pretty excited because I just planned out going to the Brewdor event on Sunday. All the stuff, train ticket and hotel. I don't know what it was, but like Expedia kept booking the wrong times for me. Like I would double check the damn thing and then go to book it and just be like, okay, you're good for September. And I was like, no. Can we do this again? And of course, when I finally found the right time, the prices have been like, you know, jacked up because everyone's booking right now.
Yeah. I wonder how big of a deal that really is for the folks in Korea. Like, I mean, we know it's a big deal for some of the folks in Korea, but I mean for all of the folks.
I think it's like a big deal for a lot of people because it's like, I think it's one part getting the people that we're going to follow Brood War kind of no matter what, right? But then it's also getting all the people that don't, like, they remember the good times because it's in a beach that you're going to be wanting a vacation anyways. So you're just going to be like, hey, why not just go to Busan that weekend? It's on Gwangali Beach, which is like very like, that's where one of the biggest tournaments ever happened, like esports wise. So it's just going to be like kind of a throwback to that. And they've actually been doing a really good job about plastering remastered advertisements around Korea. Like Rapid tweeted that one that was in I forget where that meant, like where that subway stop was, but they had like a banner of it. And then today, me and Alaris were like in Hongdae, which is like a really popular area, and they had just like lined the subway walls with like cool remastered stuff, like a carrier and the box art and stuff like that. So they've really been trying to work up to a big hype reveal, and you can play it on the in PC bongs only on the 30th. So they're like 2 weeks early or something like that. They're only in PC bongs, so they have like a lot of cool promotions.
Yeah, speaking of Rapid, I'm gonna next time you see him, you want to just bring him a cold compress for me?
Did you burn him?
I burned him so fucking bad yesterday. He came to troll my stream. I was having none of it. Namshar just responded to me on Skype, by the way, so he should be coming here in a sec.
Yeah.
No, we were playing PUBG last night with Nate and a couple other people, and he comes in. He's like, "That feel when you tune to BaseTradeTV expecting StarCraft but are disappointed feels bad, man." So it's like that feel when you tune to Korean StarCraft but Rapid's casting feels bad, man. Like,
shit.
No hard feelings to Rapid. I don't dislike Rapid, guys. But we are getting into Odyssey. This is now actually a best of 3, so not going to be so quick and cut. But it's going to be still a fun game, I think. Goblin may not have done Mass Oracle in the last game instead of Mass Phoenix. I'm kind of still counting on him to do Mass Oracle. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. If Haas can make it work, Goblin can make it work. Because this dude's probably been doing this longer than Haas, if we're going to be real. Like, to be totally real, Goblin's like the king, the original, the grandfather of Mass Oracle.
I don't know about that, man. Haas got the Oracle, and it was like given like, actually can't think of a good analogy here, but it was like this was just destined to be when they gave him the Oracle in Heart of the Swarm. I actually would love to hear both of their stories and like compare and see who really did think of it first and like who perfected it first.
I love the idea of like Jesus came down from the heavens, glowing light, and in his palm he had an oracle and said, "My son, take this."
I think
and
that's
hands
what it
to him and flies away.
I think that's exactly what it was. But anyways, we'll see how many oracles are made in this game. In the bottom right has the blue Protoss. He is Goblin.
And his opponent in the upper left, gonna be one of our favorite Zergs. It's Dead Pixels Namshar.
Yeah. Caster on BaseTradeTV a long time ago. Decent Zerg, basically always, but
Well, I was gonna say, you
improving.
know what? Like
Yeah.
Sorry. The caster part, it was so long ago I wouldn't even really count it for anything nowadays. The reason I say I like this guy, to be clear, for everybody, is like he can upset people in brackets. Like he's a bracket assassin nowadays. Like, okay, he's not gonna win, say, DreamHack Montreal, right? But you bet your ass he'll knock Hearthstone out of the round of 16 type thing. Like, he's a scary dude to have in your bracket.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he did have a couple of tournaments where he was the winner, like winner, like first place. Against, and that wasn't like, it wasn't like a, you know, a tournament with no one else in it. Like, it was actually against a couple of good people. And I think that's when I was like really starting to get impressed, because he hadn't really ever been like an online tournament victor, and he even got a little bit farther than people expected in offline tournaments too. So there's definitely more talk for Namshar, but it's still a very slow process for him.
Well,
you know, he's never really had like a blowout performance.
I know you talk about him having like being an online victor, but I'm pretty sure he's an online Christopher.
Victor's a name. I get it. I need to talk about something very important though that Dura's brought up in chat. Coke Zero is being replaced in America with Coke Zero Sugar. What the hell's that, man? That better taste the exact same.
That's got to be the exact same product, but they've just called it Coke Zero and then added sugar, right? Like,
no, because it's zero sugar. Both Coke Zero and Zero Sugar are sweetened with aspartame. So what's the difference?
That's what I'm saying. I think just added the word sugar to it.
Zero
which is
sugar
confusing.
Tastes more like original Coke. Well, I like the taste of Coke Zero at this point. What the hell, man?
Right, but here's the thing, right? You tell me there's Coke Zero and Coke Zero Sugar, and I look at that branding and immediately I think, oh, this is Coke Zero with sugar. Like, I feel like that's just not smart branding, even though I know that they mean for it to read as no sugar, like zero sugar.
Coke Zero Sugar. Yeah, I guess like they're trying to go for a bit of a play on words. I don't know. I think I would get them.
But Coke Zero Sugar to me just sounds like a version of Coke Zero with sugar, and I don't want to drink sugar, so it's like I would not buy that drink. That seems like bad planning, personally.
I don't know about that. I want to actually get chat's opinion on that one. But for me, I'm like a little suspicious, right? Because okay, maybe it does take like more like regular Coke, which fine. Even though people like the taste of Diet Coke as it is, that's like fine, whatever. Is it really a thing? Is this just like a ploy, like Pepsi was when they like made that really bad Pepsi, and they're like, just kidding, guys. We're gonna go back to the original one, and everyone is like, that was a scam to get everyone to buy Pepsi again. Did you hear about that in like the 80s or the 70s, something it was?
No, all I hear about from that era was like everyone wants Pepsi Crystal to come back or something.
Yeah, well, there's a whole Pepsi Crystal thing, but no, like they made like a Pepsi like original. I don't even remember. Like, chat will probably know, right? And probably link the whole thing.
By the way,
yeah.
Second Stargate,
and
air weapons. I mean, it's a Phoenix for now, but yeah, actually, even if he was to go like Mass Phoenix, it's still totally viable versus Zerg. It's just a little bit less effective with Hydras being in the meta now.
I think it's hard to pull off. Namshar has no idea about this, but he probably faces Goblin every now and then and knows the style.
Oh, for sure. There's no way that they don't if they play on the European ladder.
Yeah.
Goblin is a high-ranking GM, guys.
That is Twilight Council following things up. So this actually doesn't feel like like super mass Oracle. It actually turned into a regular game, especially if it adds a Robo. We'll see that develop. Roach Warren is being put down. That's usually just saved as almost like a safety measure. Of course, the main thing to do nowadays to get the +1 melee and go into Hydras and then Banelings. But Roach plays safe and can still be effective.
Well, Goblin stacking his Phoenix up, looking to go for a clean kill. Should be an easy one here. Unfortunately, with the layer being so far away, like, there's not really anything he can do about this other than try and hedge his losses.
Well, that is charge.
I really like the charge to come up behind this too.
Yeah, nice little charge there. Third base almost already halfway done. Overlord is going to get that scout. But by now, I think The Phoenix count is a little bit higher than usual and being a little more aggressive than usual too. Maybe just the assumption that he's making more. Now he's gonna see more. Yeah, like 5 is a very normal number. Even 7 can be okay, I suppose. But when it gets around that part, I think you're gonna be a little suspicious if it's a, you know, a real committal to Stargate, whether it's just with Phoenixes, just with Oracles, or an actual attempt to transition into like Carriers and Tempests. But all he sees is more Phoenix production. So like Twilight Council too. It's like constantly checking back in and out. The Phoenixes have now killed how many queens? They're gonna get these ones, so they're gonna get 6 queens in total. I mean, their drone damage hasn't been really high, but the queen kill count's pretty impressive.
Yeah, keeping those on a low count too not only reduces combination creep spread in Jax, but also the chance that there's any transfuses later on when you do want to take bigger fights. It's not bad at all, and of course 150 minerals is not exactly cheap either. But while the Phoenix continue to patrol the skies and be real nuisances, it's not like Goblin is playing too haphazardly back at home. Third Nexus finished up, he's going to be taking that base soon, and of course, Namshar, I do like that he's continuing to try to expand behind this. You know, Phoenix, they can't lift buildings, but now that things like charge lots or even adepts might be coming out, he's got to be a little bit worried. Hydra's getting plucked out of the ground, too.
Yeah. I mean, he's just making so many Phoenixes that even though a lot of them are low on energy, they've been using them on Queens and a couple of the drones. There's still enough to lift up very few numbers of Hydras, and he just cleans up most of the anti-air right there. It's getting a little bit absurd. I'm sure Namshar is starting to sweat a little bit, thinking, like, can I actually get to that critical mass of Hydras? 14 with +1 is about to pop here. But those Phoenixes has certainly done a number.
Does that pop with sugar or without sugar?
Clearly without sugar.
Well, I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed that Namshar kept things together as long as he has. I think it's really easy to, I guess, panic when the Phoenix come, but oh no, I don't know why you take that engagement. So many Hydras there.
Yeah, maybe getting a little too cocky off of the, you know, how many fights have gone his way so far, how many Hydras he's killed, how many Queens that he's killed, but does have to run back home now. But, you know, by now he has a bunch of charge lots, he has a Mothership Core with a couple of Photon overcharges. This is not a big enough Hydra ball, and it doesn't have any Banelings yet that Goblin really has to worry. He's still continuing with his upgrades for air. Additional Stargate comes down, even +1 shields to affect every unit that he has here. Goblin is certainly playing to a specific style.
Well, I guess if there's a lot of Banelings, his style is not going to work out very well. Because there's not really going to be anything to help guard this. There's no Archons on the front lines. There's no Immortals. There's nothing to really soak those Banelings. It's just going to be the Zealots getting splashed to death. Actually, this makes a very interesting question with priority now. Do the Phoenix want to dive in and pick up the Banelings, or do they want to be still picking off the Hydralisks? Very insistent on killing Queens, too. Like, I guess he's hoping that this just kills the larva count.
Well, they just always make this also available, I think. Like, usually they are at least near the Spore Crawler, but every time I've checked, they're, like, kind of away from them.
Yo, what if Goblin actually has the sickest micro in his back pocket, and he's ready to focus fire those Banelings, not with the Phoenix, but with the Carriers?
Yeah, right? Like, it does... It definitely feels like the charge lots are just the step along the process. Like, he doesn't really have an answer to the Banelings, but if they buy enough time, if they force Namshar to think he needs more Banelings than actually attacking, then he's gonna get to Carriers, and it's gonna be a new problem.
That would be the coolest, like, 1,000 mineral juke, frankly.
Well, that was not a cancel. Yeah, I don't know if it's like juke is the right word, but, you know, like, the Ling Hydra bust that he... Well, not really Lings, but, like, that Hydra move out that he had right here, if there weren't 12 charge lots, he probably tries to do something, right? And the Phoenixes are low on energy, and the Carriers haven't quite popped out by then. It's a little scary, but at least with 12 Zealots... He made Namshar go back home, have to make Banelings, and have to recuperate, and have to, again, deal with the Phoenix harassment that is still going on here. I mean, most of the units you'll see on the units lost tab are because of these Phoenixes. So 15 Overlords, 11 Queens, and 16 Hydras. But those charge lots, they want to help with the Hydras. Like, they don't just want to give themselves the Banelings. Their job isn't really done yet, because that KR count's not very high, but they're having trouble. And it looks like they did not buy enough time.
No. Those poor zealots. That supply count plummeted with that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Zealots in that number could have helped with these Hydras immensely. Same with the Phoenix coming in too, right? But you gave so much away to the Banelings, it's not going to go well for Goblin.
No, and...
I mean, these are completely unupgraded Zealots. Look how well they're doing in such small numbers even.
Yeah. Even with Graviton Catapult, I mean, these carriers, they just don't have any, interceptors to begin with, so... This very quickly turned against Goblin. I mean, that carrier transition, it didn't really happen that fast. Only 3 of them to help out what was a handful of charge lots. And while the Phoenix harassment was impressive, I'm not sure there was enough benefit gained from it, Like, the bases weren't taken that quickly. Respectable 3rd, respectable 4th. And without Storm, I think it's always going to be a bit of a challenge to deal with mass Hydras.
Well, the carriers have been given time to finally get some interceptors, though. This was a big problem for him before. He was sending these in, and they would just get popped off by the Hydras immediately. Trading out well, it's a 25 minerals or whatever it is for an interceptor. I can't remember what they can reduce the cost to nowadays, but the point is, it's still costly for Goblin. He can't actually produce anything because all of his money's going to interceptors, and they're supposed to be cheap. They're supposed to be not costing him anything, but GG's get called. Namshar holds strong and breaks through.
Yes, I thought the Phoenix harassment would eventually be tilting, especially when he lost so many queens early on, but he really did stay fast and true to his macro, and it worked out fine. That means it's going to be Goblin's map choice. I'm hoping he picks something new, but we'll see. Thank you very much to Husky21 for the 2-month resub. So it's simply Coke 0. And Cyril for the 17-month resub.
Of course, I forgot to tweet that we were live, so I've done that now too. If you guys could do me a favor, while we're waiting on these games, hop on over to Twitter, hit that retweet button on the BaseTradeTV page. I know that Zombie Rob and I would certainly appreciate it.
I went shopping a little bit today because me and Annie went to the Love Museum that's in Hapjeong. So it wasn't quite worth like $7 basically.
Sorry, wait, what's it called?
The Love Museum.
Okay, hang on. Let me guess before you even talk about this. Is this like sexual type thing, or what are we talking about here?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
There's like a sex museum in New York, and there's a sex park in, I think, Jeju Island, but this is called the Love Museum. It's along with the Trick Eye Museum, too. So, like, you have to be careful which one you go to, I guess. But no, like, it wasn't really worth $7. It was worth, like, maybe $2, because it was, like, very short. But it was just, like, a bunch of, like, funny, like, you can pretend to be having sex with someone, or... pretend to be doing
like they're bent over, like a wax statue
exactly.
type thing.
Or you like take like pictures of you in funny positions, and they're just like, kind of like funny looking characters. There was a brief history of sex in Asia that I found interesting, but yeah, it just
like all sex was just quick and over with fast. Like
no, apparently they had a specific technique that they swore like helped cure disease and stuff. Like it wasn't about satisfaction. It was about the other benefits.
Whoever's on top will live longer. Got it. And that encouraged people to be more fit and thus solve the obesity problem. Makes sense.
I think you nailed it. Just as they did.
Well, so did they apparently.
Right. So, anyways, we went to a place called Hapjeong, which is like a very happening place in Korea, and there's just like a lot of shopping. So, I finally got like a bunch of stuff for my skin. The problem with it is that it's so healthy for your skin. Like, everyone should be doing this.
From the sex museum?
No, in Hapjeong. I said we were in Hapjeong, and there's a lot of shopping there, and then I went to this.
Okay, you lost it, because I thought Hapjeong was where the museum was.
It's also, it's a city, right? It's like a...
Oh, I thought it was like a building called, like, Hapjeong or something.
No. Anyways. But yeah, it's something you're supposed to do. Like, Koreans are in the right to do this, but I just did it today, and I forgot how much it feels like I'm just in, like, a not air-conditioned room. Like, my face just feels actually very gross right now. I prefer not to be on camera.
What did you do? What?
Well, it's all about moisturizing, right? So what you do is you have, like, a bunch of different steps, but really the end result is that your face is very moisturized. So I use the whole, like, kit and caboodle, man. I got, like, the toner and the emulsion and the eye mask and the face mask and everything. And It just soaks it all up and makes you feel gross. But it's supposed to be very healthy. So, that's just, I just was excited. I wanted to say I didn't want to really be on camera. But here I am casting at 2:30 in the morning after doing my nightly routine. Because StarCraft and Korea times. But speaking of StarCraft, let's do the intros. In the bottom left, he's down one. He chooses Acolytes, one of the newer maps. It is Goblin.
And it's on the top right, the ever impressive Namshar.
Indeed.
Now, I will still stand by the ever impressive part, right? Like, there was quite a bit that last game that should have gone much worse for him. You know, his overlords weren't properly packed in. His queens were all picked off so easily, so early. I was kind of worried he might panic and try and say rush out Hydras, but he did a lot of really smart things that game, like taking the fourth faster and playing close to home and not trying to reach out. Like, it's almost as infuriating when you watch Terran player play versus like Adept Phoenix, and you're like, dude, just stay at home, quit trying to drop, you'll be fine. But they keep insisting on dropping and losing everything over and over, right? No, Namshar didn't make those mistakes. He played it very smart that last game.
Yeah.
I think he knew exactly how to deal with that.
Yeah, there was that one moment where he finally had enough Hydras and he thought maybe pushing out the map was going to be a good idea. And they realized it wasn't. Backed off and again defended until his macro was enough to really pay off in that game. He just, one fell swoop once he was borderline maxed out and that was able to do it. So I was curious what Goblin was going to choose, not just because it's a new map pool, new season and all that, but it's also just, if he is going to play to a particular style, which one of these newer maps could potentially help out with that, and certainly Acolyte with the natural base being in pocket would help.
Yeah, Acolyte actually, I didn't even realize, it's kind of got this cooler bloom to it too, right? Like everything here feels a little more glowy. I feel like they must have updated this or something. Like, I don't remember it being this pretty, I guess.
It's pretty. Oh, yeah,
I felt like it was kind of a dull map before.
I mean, Avex did the design for it, right?
Yeah, that's why we had fucked up minerals at thirds.
No. Well, okay, so, yeah, shots fired aside. Avex actually paired up with another guy, and I thought that was this map, where he did the aesthetics, but the other guy did the actual design. But don't quote me on that. Avex had like a lot of maps in the map test tournament, which this was in, which is why I brought it up. The other two were... Oh, wait, no, one was, right? It's Mech Depot, Acolyte, and... Oh, nope, that's right. Okay, yeah, this is the only one. Just kidding. Catalina is just an old map that they brought back, because Blizzard loves doing that. And I don't mind, because it's better than the other one they're going to bring back.
Yes, Frost was a very stupid choice. And the thing was, like, it was such a unanimous, like, thing for the community. Everyone's like, no, what are you smoking? I know you guys live in California, but come on.
I like Catalina. It's just kind of an odd choice because it wasn't really that played out though. Like of the old maps they've brought back, they usually bring back ones that were very standard, like Overgrowth and Frost, I guess.
Well, I guess that's what's interesting about it though, because the other maps that they did use were standard this time, so they brought back a less standard one, and I'm kind of okay with that more than the other way around that they've been doing so far, because I haven't been happy with the maps in a while. But
yeah.
Regardless of that, Goblin very, very quick to that fleet beacon.
Oh yeah, he's skipping a couple of steps here.
Now, the reason I think you can kind of get away with this is Acolyte does provide that 3-base scenario that, say, Proxima does. A lot of people would not like playing Protoss on that map because similar situations. They could just turtle up and easily move on. Also, the way you have the camera positioned right now, don't move it. It looks like there's 2 air upgrades on the production tab. That's so weird.
Oh, it's like almost perfect. I want to like make it perfect now. There you go.
Whoa!
Well, man, it's like underneath the middle.
I can't believe he's upgrading
now.
double upgrade. How cool would that be though if you could invest like 3 engineering bases to all like pool together, and if they're all researching +1, it just goes faster or something?
You just like link them together, like that makes sense.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, technology, that could be a thing.
Well, I was gonna say cooperation, but yeah, technology, sure. Just imagine all the scientists at all the different engineering bases sharing their data.
Yeah. So, well, the Oracle is getting a little bit done here and there. It's really not so bad, and it lives. It's almost dead, but it lives, so this is quite nice. It really has to live, by the way, not just for threat of future attacks. Oh, Caesar Trap's kind of funny. But just because it's like the only thing Goblin has to scout. He doesn't have any Adepts running through here. He doesn't have any Observers being built. Like, this is the only thing. And if he doesn't see a Roach attack even coming. Like, she'll have 2 carriers, and the roaches can't kill the carriers, so there might be so many that it'd be game over anyways. Not actually what Namshar is doing, not what he's playing to. He has 3 bases, he's saturated on all 3, he's starting his upgrades now, and getting to a Spire. Not Hydralisk Den, so he hasn't seen... That confused me so much, guys.
The Void Rays?
No. Okay, I went to go view Namshar's, like, view, and as I did, a voice line came on, but it was Tasteless pretending to be one of the other announcers, and it was, like, talking about the Void Rays, and I was just like, wait, I'm so confused.
Yeah, I'm actually... I have so much love and respect for Tasteless Narcosis, right? But their voice pack was terrible. I actually really did not enjoy it after like maybe a day of use.
I don't think I ever say it was terrible because I still use it. Well, rip Oracle. But I know a lot
I
of
would
people
say
are
it's terrible, but not because of what they did. First, I feel like they didn't write their own lines, and secondly, the laugh track and stuff kills it. It's not them that ruins it. It's the laugh track and like the faux crowd in the background and stuff. But yo, actually, that's another kill, but something really important here. Namshar is trying to go for mutas, which is not a problem, right? In fact, they might even work versus the carriers. But Goblin already has Anion Pulse Crystals ready to go. Like, if he needs to make a couple, or he will rather, with the Fleet Beacon up, if he needs to make Phoenix and do a swap, he can handle that no problem. Mothership Core is also here for a recall, so I mean, this is an annoyingly dedicated amount of harass.
Yeah. Very nice. I love the idea. 10 drones went down. The harassments. The mutas are going to try and get some revenge, and Goblin is not making Phoenixes. Just more carriers.
I mean, the carriers can fight this, for sure.
It is kind of a weird effect. If there's really that many mutas, then carriers could have trouble in lower numbers. But you'd have to have a lot of mutas and like not a lot of carriers, which I'm not sure Namshar's really getting up to, so... To see 4 more mutas on the production tab was a little confusing. He's continuing to commit to the Spire play, though. He's got to be going into Corruptors at some point. I don't think he's actually going to stay on mutas. A double upgraded Spire? I don't see that too often. Not this early.
I'm trying to remember the last time. Like, double upgraded Spire hasn't been a thing for a while, ever since, like, Corruptors and mutas were, like, the thing that people were doing.
Yeah,
you know, Bly here especially.
Yeah, it was really just Wings of Liberty, I would say.
No, definitely after Wings. There's some of that in HOTS.
Might have been some of it, but like I think the most popular one was just like.
Oh, the mutas get wrecked. And Shreks and Decks.
Yeah, they do. The roaches come into the 4th base and kill the pylons, so they might just be able to do the Nexus if they focus fired.
Isn't there a couple of Void Rays out? Shouldn't those just be able to... Yeah, here we go. These should be able to just sit here on their own if they'd like. Of course, this means the mutas go back in. Goblin did split his carriers, so there's like still 2 to protect. It's been annoying for him, but nothing close to game-ending damage.
Yeah, the roaches didn't focus fire. They just, they also just got out of dodge once they saw the Void Rays. So that Nexus didn't actually take any damage, and the pylon just being rebuilt here. Second Spire does finish up. Namshar is starting to really boost in economy. Managed to catch a couple of probes just on the transfer. That was nice. The Muse probably won't be able to do much else. Cannons, carriers, Void Rays, everything's in position finally. Namshar is not deciding what to do, by the way. Not yet, like, it's a lot of minerals and gas banks. No. Finally, 8 Corruptors.
Corruptors aren't going to cut it. There's been so many Void Rays produced this game. Like, he's making 15 Corruptors, and this looks a little funny. He can afford it right now, sure. But honestly, between a couple of carriers, but more importantly, it's soon to be like 5 to 8 Void Rays, all with weapon upgrades. They got +3 weapons. If you thought Void Rays hit hard when they prismatically align, wait till you see them prismatically align with +3 weapons. Like, that damage transfers through in a big, harsh way, and Namshar, he's gonna suffer for it. There's no doubt about it.
There's that point where there's just so many Corruptors, to a building Protoss army that they can cut it, but it's always a dangerous game to play, because it's... Yeah, the Voiders eventually get mixed in, or Storms and Archons do, either one, and the Corruptors just can't cut it. But he's going to try. This is the path that Namshar has decided to take. He does have a very good economy at 83 drones, 5 bases that like 1 or 2 bad fights could be made up with. But this is just a time buying game for Goblin. He's going to get to the kind of perfected army, especially to see the Templar Archives being added on.
I'm really excited to watch this fight actually go down, but
Oh!
Gets the mothership while she's morphing. That's not bad.
bad. Void Rays and Carriers respond. They just run away, so the Roaches duck in once again to the 4th and successfully deny the mining. 5 probes go down. We have a big Ling Flood, too, as that's what Namshar's been upgrading. With +2 now on the way. Corruptors are going to take out that Nexus so quick.
Yeah, Mothership comes out though beforehand. She needs to start turning into that Mothership again, though. Not just for the extra stats, but the cloaking field is huge. And Namshar doesn't actually have that many Overseers. In fact, there's almost none on the front line.
Yeah, there's none. You know, these attacks are working out quite well. Goblin isn't really at that perfect army yet. You know, he's not maxed out on air. He doesn't have Storms and Archons.
I don't know why he's choosing not to go home with this. I think the attack he's going for here is fine, but there's no reason he needs to base trade this. His army could easily deal with what Namshar has in his base.
Yeah, I feel like he's being quite desperate here, where he should have just kept a calm head and continued to max out, but now he's going to lose his base. He might, I mean, he's going to take out Namshar's 6th and probably 5th too, but he will be caught.
So these Void Rays are going to be dealing 21 damage every 0.3 seconds. That's like 60 damage per second per Void Ray.
Grades are in the Protoss' favor. Namshar very scared to do this. Like, ideally, he gets an overcharge, backs off, and comes back later.
Now, there's the prismatic alignment. Oh my god. He takes out a couple of carriers, and that's cool, but yikes. He's going to have to keep remaking a ton of corruptors. Now, he's waiting out that prismatic alignment. He really wants to just snipe one and trade one and keep ducking in and out. Control here at a Namshar is great. This is how you beat a Protoss army of this caliber, and I think he's going to break him. Spore Crawlers also get shots on the ground. I don't know why Goblin took a fight out here. GG.
He's feeling way too pressured. Like, that was weird. You know, he was being harassed. Certainly that snipe on the Nexus was fast and, you know, not expected from the Corruptors, but it happens. But, you know, you're already playing a very slow game. The loss of a Nexus and a handful of probes, I don't think actually stalls you out. Unless it was like your 3rd or something and you're being contained. But still, like, you know, 3 more Nexus. I didn't think it was actually that desperate of a scenario that he had to all in like that. But he thought it was the case. So that's going to be
that's pretty
2-0.
cool. Namshar now advances on to fight against Keen, and we get to see a really good TVZ coming up next.
Yeah, we do. Acheron just took out Bly, so we've had a couple upsets in the bracket with Billowy being out, Bly being out. Interesting. And I guess Hero Marine's not an upset. He's advancing, just that it's cool to see him on the bracket. Just wanted to note that.
Yeah, I think him and Mana are streaming, I believe, if you guys do want to watch their points of view of their games as well, especially if we're not casting them.
Yeah. But I need to get the scene set up for Catalina, because that's going to be our first map of the next series, Namshar versus Keen. So, see you guys in a couple of minutes.